So today we're going to be looking at changing this pollen filter or cabin filter on this 2009 Renault Clio 1.2. The location of the filter is just inside the cockpit on the passenger side, up underneath the glove box down here. When we unpack the new filter, what we can see is that it comes with the cover and also the filter itself. There's some brief instructions in here, but basically what they say is that the filter, you can see here, the cover rather, it says up. So that bit goes up behind the cover, and then what happens is it pushes in. You can see this kind of rubber seal just here. So to get it out, what you need to do is grab this tab, kind of pull it out that way, and then the whole thing slides down. On the existing one, the one that comes with the car, or the original Renault ones, the filter is actually part of this whole thing. So you would buy kind of this whole fitment with the filter kind of stuck to it like this. So when you pull it out, it comes away as a whole unit. The new ones, the filter itself is just replaceable without having to replace the cover. So let's have a look. Okay, so right down here, right in the corner, as we go into the passenger footwell, is where we can see that housing. So just as we saw on the new one, what we're going to do is try and pull this lug towards us. That just comes forward slightly, and then you can see it kind of pulling the whole filter. And I'm just going to pull it down, and that's where that lug comes out the top. Keep pulling it towards us, and the whole thing comes out. Looking at the filter now, we've got it out. You can see obviously we've got that same kind of rubber seal bit, and that's just where it pinches in as you push it in on that last bit, or as we pulled it out. That's what kind of holds it in there snug. When we turn it over, we can see all the fluff and all the dirt, everything that is filtered out over the years where it's been in there. When we compare it to the new one, it's quite a substantial difference. When we look at the new filter, what we can see is that we've got this kind of arrow that depicts which way the air should flow. When we compare that to the old one, obviously this one came out this way, we can see that on this side is where it's dirty and where all the kind of everything that's come through has been filtered. But when we actually look at the bottom of it, bearing in mind that it came out that way, we can see that the airflow, it says there, is that direction. So the arrows actually point to the side where the air comes in from. So for us putting this new one in, what we're going to make sure is that this arrow is going to point to the direction of the air coming in, so it's going to go towards the front of the car. And then obviously we've got this tab at the top here that once we come to change it in a few years time, it's going to give us something to actually pull on to be able to remove the filter, and it's not just going to get stuck up in the housing. And what's important to note when you're trying to get the new one back in, it's just as it goes in at the top, it kind of sits up just slightly. You can see my finger where it kind of goes up behind the recess. So the actual opening top to bottom is actually less distance, or shallower shall we say, shorter than the size of the filter. So when we're trying to get the new filter in, it's going to be a little bit of a squash just to get it in. So we'll persevere. And normally what comes in quite handy, if you just kind of push it in just there, that kind of helps you just to get it in initially. It is quite tight into this spot regardless anyway, but what I find, just this glove box bit, if you get it to go behind up here, then it puts it in a much better position for you to start getting it in. I'm just going to offer the side in initially. You can see it's going in at a bit of an angle. Just make sure that front is kind of squashed in ever so slightly. That allows you to get it just into the housing. I'm just going to push the top in, pop it in, keep it going. It pops up, and you can just see I've got that tab now rested, ready for when we want to change it in the future. Just check it, give it a feel, make sure it's okay, and that's the filter back in the housing. So with the new housing cover, you can see obviously we've got that lug at the top that we said about, and then down the bottom obviously we've got this kind of rubber seal that just makes it snug in there. So all I'm going to do is just now offer it in at the top first. You can just feel that go in, slide it in, pop it in, just feel it going to go in there, and there we go. That's it now fitted. So that's it for this one. Hopefully that's been useful to someone. If you've enjoyed it, please give us a like down below. If you haven't done so already, or if you're new to this Renault channel, then please give us a subscribe coming up here now. I always say the more subscribers and the more likes I get, the more videos I'll make. So there's lots to do on this car. I've had it about a year now. It's due a service, all these various bits and pieces, filters and stuff that are coming up. So for now, thanks very much for watching. Really appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.